Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
All right, let's go, because you know what I came in to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
This is why a lot of people don't like me, is because I hold them to the clinical definitions of what they're saying. And people don't like that because a lot of people let them get away with that. Maybe they don't let them get away with that. They just don't know any better. So, you know, they're all in the same boat. But language is very important. And you have to tell your kids they can win big in life by using clinical language. We're going to take on the definition of journeyman boxer. So according to Wikipedia, a journeyman is a fighter who has adequate skills but is not of the caliber of a contender or gatekeeper. Now, they're asking here, what does a journeyman boxer earn? This is expert boxing. And it says between 2,000 and 2,500 for a fight. Let's say pounds, because David boxes mainly in the United Kingdom recently. That's journeyman purses. Well, let me tell you this now, right? If you're headlining on Eddie Hearn Matchroom cards or Frank Warren cards in Britain, you're earning way more than 2,000, 2,500. I don't know what he's getting, yeah? I tried to find some of his purses, but there's no way David Avanesyan is fighting for £2,500. There's just no way. And then we look at the rankings. Which journeyman is ranked number 4 by the WBC, number 8 by the IBF, and number 6 by the WBO? Where are these journeymen who are ranked so high in the rankings? Where are they? David Avanesyan is one of the biggest fighters plying his trade in the United Kingdom and Europe, but he's a journeyman? How? He doesn't even have 5 losses. Let's have a look at the record. 17 KOs in 29 wins and 3 losses, 1 draw. That's a journeyman. That's not a journeyman record. You don't know what a journeyman's record is. David Avanesyan's last 7 fights, of which he's only lost 1 since 2018. The Kowalowski's fight was scheduled for 10, and then his next 6 fights were scheduled for 12, all European title fights. Kowalowski's was 18-0. 18-0. That was for the NABF title in America around July of 2021 against Gabriel Maestre. Big controversy. And Kowalowski's just beat that guy and washed him. This is the caliber of opponents that David Avanesyan has been fighting. His next fight was Kerman Lejaraga, who was 27-0 with a whole lot of knockouts. 27-0. His current record, 26 knockouts in 34 wins, only 3 losses. 2 of them losses by knockout. You know who put them 2 losses, knockout losses on his record? Yeah, the guy you're calling a journeyman. Kerman Lejaraga was the European champion. The next guy David beat was 29-8-1, defending his European title. Josh Kelly was unbeaten, 10-0-1, top matchroom prospect. David knocked him out. Liam Taylor was 23 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw when David stopped him in 2 rounds. And Oskari Metz was 15-0 when David knocked him out in a 1 round. You show me where a journeyman fighter is beating so much fighters with unbeaten records and winning records. Show me. Show me where this exists in boxing ever. Show me. Now, for those of you who don't know any worldly boxing knowledge, if you don't know anything beyond Spence and Crawford or the Charlos and Tank, maybe Ryan Garcia, Deontay Wilder, probably Golovkin, Canelo, and that's it. That's your limit right there. And even that might be stretching it. Let me educate you to this, yeah? The EBU title gets you a top 15 ranking with the WBC automatically. Yeah? And this has been the case since the WBC and WBA were the 2 main sanctioning bodies. Bit of boxing knowledge for you there. And I keep forgetting I'm talking or addressing low-level Errol Spence fans. The EBU title is the European title. Because I know you don't know that. 100% don't know. And we don't care either, Beach. Yeah, I know you don't care. Now, if you're a little ignorant, let me just let you know that journeymen do not defend their European title 5 defenses on the bounce. That's not what journeymen do. Now, in 2014, David fought Laszlo Fazekas from Hungary, a journeyman. This is a real journeyman. And a pretty good journeyman too. Fazekas was 22-16-1. when he took David the 10-round distance. He retired in 2018 with a record of 32 wins, 31 losses, 1 draw, but he's only been stopped 3 times. That's a journeyman. That's a journeyman. The EBU European title is an integral part of a large demographic of world-ranked fighters. If you know nothing about it or don't acknowledge it, you are not in a position to try and define what is a contender or journeyman. Now here's why Laszlo Fazekas is a journeyman. Let's pull out all the important bits of why he's a journeyman. In his second fight, he took on an opponent who was 6-0 and drew. In his third fight, which he won, he beat an opponent who had a 40-50-3 record. Won most of his early fights. He lost to Fedchenko, who was 29-1-0 after a year or so of being a pro. Damien Jonat, he lost the UD to him, 33-0-1, unbeaten fighter. In his next fight, his opponent was 11-1-0, he lost to him. His next opponent was 16-1-1, and the next opponent after that, 4-0-0. All undefeated fighters, and now he's losing all these fights. On points. On points. He is now transitioning into a journeyman. There he is. Spurtko, 15-0. He loses to him an 8-rounder. Wins a couple more fights. Loses to someone who's 11-8. Johnny Garton, who I've seen box in the UK, he loses an 8-rounder to him in Gillingham when Johnny was 9-0, 2013. Loses to another guy 17-0, and they're all on points. All these losses are on points. He loses to another guy 7-1, UD over 8, and then he gets stopped in the 6th round by Ronnie Gabel. First time he's been stopped in a whole load of fights. Loses to Adil Anwar in 2014 over 4 rounds. Loses to Shane Singleton in the UK, who's 16-0 over 10 rounds. That's a journeyman. You see how much unbeaten prospects or contenders that he's losing to on points? He's a journeyman. They're calling him in to test their young prospects because they know that Laszlo can take them rounds. He's a journeyman. He's on standby with his phone all the time waiting for it to call to get work. Loses to Kevin Bizier, is stopped in 1 round. Bizier is 22-1 at the time. Kevin Bizier at the time was a ranked contender and eventually got a shot against Kell Brook. And then David Avanesyan, David outpoints him in his next fight over 10 rounds. Fazekas kept going on. He retired in 2018. He lost on points to Paulie Malignaggi and lost more fights. That's a journeyman. David Avanesyan is a world-ranked welterweight contender. Bottom line, I'm right, you're wrong. Trying to weaponize everything against Terence Crawford is pussy shit. It's not real boxing analysis. It's desperate. There's no need for you to try and put down Terence Crawford that bad that you take everything he does and try to rubbish it. Only a fool would do that. And unless you're a fool, you should stop doing it. Only a fool would take Errol Spence's resume and say everything about it is crap. All his opponents are bums and journeymen. Only a fool would do that either side of Spence and Crawford. Mikey Garcia is retired. Is he a better fighter than David Avanesyan on accomplishments? Yes. But at welterweight, David Avanesyan has done way more. But you guys didn't complain when Spence cherry-picked Mikey Garcia. You know, when Doug Fisher and Steve Kim were calling the PBC fan base the demographic, ignorant boxing fans who have no boxing knowledge, I was staunchly opposed to what they said. That's an insult. But right now, you're proving them right. You don't understand what a journeyman is. You don't know. You don't get what a European champ is. When Richard Schaefer said the world doesn't want to see Errol Spence fight Terence Crawford, they want to see Errol Spence fight Mikey Garcia. None of you came out and said Richard Schaefer is talking shit. But no, he used you and your ignorance to support these decisions. And that's why Spence and Crawford hasn't happened. You are entitled to your opinion, and I sincerely mean that, to your uninformed opinions. Your analysis is a headliner on a major satellite network is a journeyman. Because he has 3 losses in, 29 or 30 fights. You're an idiot. KIKO's been a pro for 18 years. Won the European title when he was around 16-0 against Bernard Dunn in Ireland. 2007, he lost it to Randall Munro. Tried to win it back from him after 3 more victories. That was between 2007 and 2009. Randall Munro is a Jamaican. He used to ply his trade in Britain, and he used to work the dustbins as well. I met him at the York Hall a few years back. Still looked in great shape. No ego at all. Another good pro. Wow, look how long Randall's retired and KIKO's still here, man. KIKO's gone abroad for paydays. UK, South Africa. Lost some, won some. Won back the European title 2010 against Arsene Martirosen. Lost it to Carl Frampton in 2013. One victory after that, he became world champion. Took out Jonathan Romero in 6. Became IBF World Super Bantamweight Champion. Defended it 3 times. Of course, he had to go lose it back to Carl Frampton in the rematch in 2014. But he's been a world champion, you know. He's got knocked out by the likes of Scott Quigg, and it looked like it was all over. Leo Santa Cruz beat him. Josh Warrington had a tough fight against him, but he bounced back from that. Became European champion again. On the strength of that, like I said earlier, top 15 ranking. I don't know where he was ranked, but he got a shot against WBC featherweight champion Gary Russell. And Gary was just too quick, and it ended by a cut. Just too quick, too good. He bounced back from that. Couple more wins, then took Zelfa Barrett on in a great 12th rounder at the Wembley Arena. Zelfa scraped it, but the scorecards had it too wide, way too wide. One fight after that, he becomes world champion again. Knocking out Kid Galahad, who was 28-1, Sheffield Arena, massive upset. Loses the belt, first defense to Josh Warrington, gets stopped in 7, but still manages to break Warrington's jaw. And you would have thought it was all over at the age of 36, but this Saturday gone, he knocked out Jordan Gill to become European champion again. And, you know, I can't speak for no other territories out around the world, but the UK have always had an affinity for people who try. It is what it is, and KIKO's one of them guys. They love KIKO over here. Get beaten, get knocked out, come back, win European titles, challenge again for a world title, win a world title, upset victories over unbeaten guys, and, you know, real boxer, one of the best boxers in the game, one of the best. Yeah, I said it. The Gatekeeper, or the Journeyman, is one of the best. Every time KIKO appears on a card in Britain, the knowledgeable boxing fans want to see the fight, because we know KIKO's going to bring it. So, the likes of Orlando Salido, he doesn't have a perfect record. You could call him a gatekeeper / world champion, whatever it is. You know, the Derek Chisoras, he's got a world title shot against Tyson. A little fortunate to get it, in all truth. But, you know, listen, don't listen to Frank Warren. Derek carried Box Nation, Frank Warren's business, on his back for years when nothing was happening over there. Carried it on his back. And now he's become somewhat of, how can I explain it? What would be the best phrasing of what Derek has become to British boxing? An institution. And some very good wins too. Let's not underplay that. Crowd-friendly style. And that's worked for him. The difference between the Errol Spence fans is they're very limited in what they want to cheer for, or what they respect in boxing. Anything that doesn't have a perfect record or close to has to be a bum of some kind, or if they don't support him, or if they're not fighting on the PBC and they've never heard of him, it must be crap. They won't do their own research to find out what's happening. They just write it off as crap because it's not on the PBC. They don't support them, might not be the same colour as them, and it's all crap. That's the difference. It's a bit disheartening to hear boxing fans that limited. But, you know, what I say in the David Avanesyan section, you are entitled to your opinion, your misinformed opinion. The crowd develop a soft spot for guys like KIKO. And it's not out of sympathy, oh, poor KIKO. It's not out of sympathy. It's out of admiration that, yeah, KIKO will get knocked out. KIKO will get a beating over 12 or whatever it is. And then next time he'll come back hungry as ever trying to win. And he punches really hard, comes for war every time. And you could call him a journeyman if you want. Who gives a shit? 31 wins inside the distance, 44 victories, 11 losses. 5 of them losses have been inside the distance, 2 draws. In my opinion, he's one of the best fighters in the game. European champ around 3 times, 2 times world champ. No smoke ducked. All this unbeaten record shit. fake A-side, this side of the street shit. Nah, just wrecked American boxing. You know what I mean? Give me a European title fight with KIKO. Frank Warren is telling Derek Chisora that you got to go out there and sell the fight as well. Well, Tyson Fury is not really doing a great job, judging by that Big Geordie interview. Big Geordie just repeated what a lot of people thought about the fight. I don't really hate the fight, to be honest. I don't hate it like that. I'm not going to pay for it. But Tyson kind of lost the plot. He took a knee, didn't he? I mean, the guy said he thought it was a mismatch. A lot of people think it's a mismatch. And how Tyson Fury can't gauge public opinion after watching the second fight they had in 2014 is beyond me. What is it you expect people to say? That the third fight is going to be potentially competitive? Of course they're not going to say that after watching the second one. After watching the first one, I could understand them trying to sell a second fight. But after the second fight, you're asking a lot. If any fight suggested that this is the end of the series, it was the second fight between Derek and Tyson Fury. Now, I don't know if Tyson Fury and Big Geordie have had previous beef. Maybe Tyson Fury got wind of something Big Geordie said about the fight beforehand. Because it wasn't like this built up into Tyson Fury having a meltdown, if you can call it that. Tyson Fury from the start, he said, I've only got, 40 minutes? As if to say, let's get a move on, let's hurry it up. Then I've got to be off training or whatever he's got to do. And that already puts an awkward energy between Fury and the Big Geordie. And Fury called him, what did Fury call him, a tosser? As opposed to dosser, I think a tosser. And I'm not going to give you an interview again. Tyson offering his nuts to Big Geordie on some fellatio thing. And that was it. It could be a tough one to promote, because if Tyson Fury doesn't deal with the inevitable criticism that's going to come from the press in the upcoming weeks until fight time, it's not exactly a ringing endorsement to sell the stadium out. I hear they haven't sold the stadium out. And the pay-per-view buys, let's see. Like, Frank didn't release the last number, but he's claiming that Dillian versus Fury did AJ type over 1 million buyers, but you don't release the numbers.
It's also history making.
Why is it history making?
I'm going to enlighten you.
Okay.
I'll be the first heavyweight champion in history to complete 2 trilogies. So now you know why it makes more sense to fight him than some foreign person who nobody knows.
Stop lying.
You know something, I thought I was really clever today, you know. When I heard this bullcrap that he's going to be the first heavyweight champion to do 2 trilogies, I'm getting all artsy and fartsy, thinking, yeah, okay, let me go back to the black heavyweight championships, the coloured heavyweight championships, because they all fought each other multiple times. And I knew if I went through Jack Johnson's record, I'd find trilogies. And then I went to go do it live on StreamView, and Bats in the comment section said, Fury saying he's going to be the first to do some trilogies when it's Ali. And I'm thinking, oh, shit. I'm going into all this fucking detail and shit. And he's right. Ali had 2 trilogies. He had a trilogy with Joe Frazier, and he had a trilogy with Ken Norton. But this guy's saying he's the first. And Ali's trilogies meant a lot more to the game than Tyson Fury's with Derek Chisora. Big up Derek Chisora, man. But how would you not check that first? How would you not check that first? So when he's saying that he's going to be the first to do a trilogy, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to dig deep in the crates. But no, it's right in front of me, Muhammad Ali. His trilogies with Frazier and Norton. So he dragged me down to his level of denseness, basically. That's what he did. Because if you were to ask me, name 2 fighters Ali had a trilogy with, I'd have no problem saying Norton and Frazier. No problem at all. But because he said he's the first, I didn't think of Ali. I'm thinking, wow, that's deep for him to say that. There must be someone else. So I'm doing all this digging into 1903 and 4 and shit. Ali's already done trilogies. He's already done trilogies. But yo, since I did all that digging, I might as well use it. Idiotic fans will probably say, well, okay, if Ali's did it twice, Tyson's going to equal his record. Good thing I did the digging. Good thing. Jack Johnson fought Joe Jeanette 7 times. He fought Sam McVeigh at least 3. At least 3 times. That's another trilogy. He fought Black Bill 3 times. He fought Brad Simmons 3 times. Hank Griffin 3 times. Klondike Haynes 3 times. Sandy Ferguson 3 times. So Jack Johnson had 7 trilogies. Yeah? 7. So there's nothing historical about Tyson Fury taking on Derek Chisora. He can sell it to his fans because Beats hates Tyson Fury, so this can't be true. Beats is living in his mum's basement, and Tyson Fury is still going to be rich in the morning. You know, the ad hominem assaults are supposed to hurt me so much that I don't make videos like this. Well, more to come, buddy. More to come.